we're going to have a little bit of a follow-up now. Let's talk about what we just saw in the dialogues. Getting more information is a key idea. What do we mean when we talk about getting more information? Look back at the dialogue. You can see that each side is trying to say, "Oh no, your information is wrong. Let me tell you my information." Both sides are always trying to influence the information. Information is king in a negotiation. Information is everything. Information is the key to a successful distributive bargaining. The 4 goals of the negotiator's distributive tactics include: 1. Find out the other side's resistance point. 2. Influence the other side's guesses of your resistance point. 3. Influence the other side's outcome valuations. And 4. Influence the cost of delaying or leaving the negotiation. The ways to get this done are called the tactics. We want to keep our secrets secret, and we want to get the other side's secret information. We want to figure out the other side's resistance point, if we can. We want to, if we can, get their target price. That would be best. At the same time, we want to influence what they think of us. Here are a few specific example tactics. We started at the beginning talking about the big idea of making a goal package. Then we talked about the 4 big strategies. Now we're talking about distributive negotiation, win-lose. Next, look at how do you actually do it. What are the actual tactics that you use? Indirect assessment. Indirect assessment means you can find out the other side's resistance point. How do you find out what that resistance is? How do you find out what the target is? You can try to check information. Maybe check the newspaper. Check some articles. Check the public accounting statements of the other company. Check the internet. Try to understand more about the other side. That information will help you understand this product or this price when you negotiate. Indirect means finding information from another way. Direct assessment means finding information directly from the other side. How can you do this? Well, you could just ask. It's very doubtful, they may tell you, but you never know. Maybe they are not careful about keeping their secret information secret. Another one is when the other side talks. Listen carefully to what they say, as they may give you clues about their resistance points. Screening, selective presentation, and emotion are ways to observe the other side or influence the other side to think something that is not true about your secrets. We can also use logic and hide information from the other side. Keep your secret information secret. Hide information like, what is your inventory? What are your sales numbers? What is your cost? What is your capital cost? What is your manufacturing capacity? You can keep these things secret. You can hide them, and that can influence the other side. You can use outside partners. You can change the schedule of the meeting, for example. Oh, we're supposed to meet this morning, but actually we can't make it. We have to postpone the meeting until tonight. Or maybe the other team is flying in on an airplane and they fly for 12 hours on a flight. Then you schedule the meeting for early in the morning the next day, so they only get a few hours of sleep. You can schedule things or change schedules to make the other side tired and frustrated. How does this help you? It may mean that they are not so good at keeping their secrets. They may say something by accident. But these are tactics that are used in distributive negotiation. The key point to remember is you want to get the other side's secret information any way you can. So now I want to look at some negotiation positions. Remember first that distributive bargaining is all about getting something from the other side. So it's important that the other side give up something and you don't give up something. Or the other side gives up more and you give up less. The key is to start with an opening offer that is not close to your resistance point. What's your target price? What's your resistance? You want to be away from your resistance. You also want to be a little bit away from your target. The other side will push you over your target. When you begin, you can say things like, I won't give up anything. I want to help you, but I'm not going to give up anything. I'm trying to cooperate, but I'm not going to give up anything. I want to help you, but I'm not going to give in. I would like to come to an agreement, but this is my bottom line. This is the kind of normal negotiation stand you take with your position. You try to sound like you're helpful, but you hold a solid position. You're not going to move. Now, that's what you present to the other side. That's what you make the other side hear. They think you're being positive when actually you're not giving up anything. This combines two attitudes. Friendly, I'm trying to help you. And tough, I cannot give you anything more. These two ideas together, these two attitudes, these two ways, these two tactics, we can call them friendly and tough. One is friendly. One is tough. When you negotiate, you mix these together. But you tend to prefer one. Are you going to be mostly friendly? Or are you going to be mostly tough? If you're going to be mostly friendly, then the opening offer should be further from the resistance point. You begin further away because you're going to give up as you are trying to be nice. You're trying to be friendly. Okay, I'll give you something. I'll give up something. This makes the other side think that you're being cooperative. You're cooperating, so you give up more. This can help the negotiation conclude sooner. A different way is to be tough. If you're going to be tough, that means you don't give up. You don't give up $1. You keep saying, this is my bottom line. I cannot give you any more. So, you must begin closer to your resistance point, because the other side is going to keep trying to push you, but you're not going to move. If you begin very, very far away from your resistance and you're very tough, getting to an agreement will be hard and take a long time. Remember, negotiation is a process. You have to give things up to move forward. You cannot give nothing ever. The goal in distributive bargaining is to give up less and get more. Even though the other side may not like a tough attitude, this approach can make your negotiation shorter if you begin closer to your resistance point and you give something. On the other hand, If you're going to be friendly, you need to begin further away from your resistance point. If you begin further away, you will have to give up more. That takes time. So, the tough negotiation, although it seems like it's harder, actually in the end may make the negotiation shorter. Not always, but it is possible. Once the other side sees how hard your position is, they're going to give up. They don't want to keep talking. However, if you're too tough, if you're too hard, what happens? The other side can just withdraw, walk away. They will not negotiate. That's possible. Let's look at a nice, simple diagram. You have an arrow moving through time. From the opening offer to the opening attitude. First concession, more concessions, and final offer at the end. We begin with an opening offer. And continue until the final offer. Opening offer. Don't start too close to your resistance point. The opening attitude means, do you start out friendly or tough? You can have a little bit of both. You could be mostly friendly or mostly tough. You can't be half tough and half friendly because the other side will be confused. That would be very strange. So what do we do? If you're going to be friendly, start further away from your resistance point. If you're going to be tough, begin closer to your resistance point. Try to be mostly one or the other as you move across the negotiation. If you take a strong stand, your first concession will be tiny. If you take a friendly stand, your first concession will be bigger. If you're being friendly, you give many more. If you're being tough, you give few. The key point here is to remember the negotiation has a beginning and an end. How much do you give and how much time does that take? Those are key questions. Are you being friendly or are you being tough? If no concessions are made, the negotiation will not move forward. If you don't give anything, you cannot possibly move forward. So you have to give something. Think of your tactic here, tough or friendly. Concessions are important. You give something, but how many concessions and how much you give depends on your stand. Concessions should become smaller over the negotiation time. Tough or friendly both should make concessions smaller and smaller. In this way, the other side will think the concessions are nearing the resistance point. This figure makes it easy to understand. As the negotiation moves forward, you give more concessions. You begin and you give something. You can say, I'm going to give you something, $4. Or you can say, I'm going to give you nothing, and the price stays $4. I keep giving you $4, $4, $4. What do you think? You think, well, he gave me $4, and then he still gives me $4. He still has far to go to his resistance. But a better way is you begin by giving up some and then next time give up less. I begin by giving a little bit more, then I give a little bit less, then I give a little bit less. This looks like I have no more to give. You see? If you're being tough, or if you're being friendly, it's the same thing. It's just how long does it take? I give up less and less so that the other side thinks you don't have anything more to give up. I cannot just say I give you nothing because the negotiation will not move forward. I have to give up some concessions, but how much do I give up? Well, it depends on being tough or friendly. Over time, give less and less. As the negotiation gets very near the end, you give less and less. The other side gives less and less. Near the end, that's when the negotiation gets very hard. At the beginning, I give something, you give something. We both give something. That's normal. But then we get to the hardest question, the hardest part. This is where we need to have that final push. It is very normal in negotiation. You spent a long time. You made a lot of progress. The final push is not easy. So, how do we get through the final push to reach an agreement? What tactics can we use in the final push? We can provide alternatives. Maybe you can give something else or do something else. Give or ask for something different in place of the final problem. Another tactic is to assume a deal. This is very common. What does assume a deal mean? It means that we're talking, and I want, I need maybe $1 more on the price. And you say, no, I will not give you $1. And I say, okay, it's a deal. And you say, no, well, I didn't give you $1. And I say, no, that's okay. I mean, I know you're going to give me $1. I assume to get the $1. I just say, well, we can do it. It's okay. I think you can do it. I trust you. I believe you. And then you just say, it's a deal. It's not really a deal, but sometimes that works. You can also split the difference. The little bit that's left, just cut it in half. I want $1, and you won't give me $1. So what about half $1? A deadline offer means I'm going to give you a final time to agree. After that time, game over. I'm just walking away. This will give the other side pressure to push to the end. Sometimes you can give what's called a sweetener. A sweetener means you give something extra, but not exactly what the other side wants. Maybe you promise to buy more in the future or buy from them again. Or as a supplier, you promise to give them a new product in the future, like in our example dialogue. We covered a lot of material in this unit. Lots of details, especially on the different tactics. So, why so much detail? Because tactics are all about how do I do it. It's easy to talk about a big strategy, but how do I actually do it? What's the main takeaway from this unit? In distributive bargaining, the other side loses something so you can gain something. There's just no other way in distributive bargaining. How do you do that? Well, you have to give something. But make sure what you give is smaller than what you get. How do you do that? As you move through the negotiation, make the other side think you are at your resistance point. I've given you $4. I've given you $2. I've given you $1. That's all. I'm at my resistance point. I don't have anything more to give. By making the other side think this way, you create a situation where they will soon stop asking for more. Another tactic is to get their secret information. If you know the resistance point, if you know their target point, then you'll be able to make offers that benefit you more. It's not easy to do. Talk to them, ask them, watch them carefully. Listen to them. Maybe ask friends of friends. Collect information. Information is like gold to help you win. Good luck with your negotiation, and see you next time.